Welcome to North Georgia News Now. Coming up today in local news, in Dalton, a bond has been set in a felony enticing case. An elderly man was injured by an accidental fire. Brian Latour from the Chatsworth Murray County Library and Brandy Wyatt from the Dalton Whitfield Library check in with WDNN's Holly Presley on their January offerings. The Dalton Police Department is collecting artifacts as a way of preserving history. A Georgia teenager who lost part of his family last year has received a nice surprise from the NFL. And later, Brian Latour and Brandy Wyatt will present WDNN's community calendar. But first, here are the obituaries.
Today's local news is brought to you by Sean Wallen of Wallen Realty.
Welcome back to your local news. Let's get started with a story out of Dalton. Conasauga Judicial Circuit Judge Scott Minter set bond at $150,000 for a man facing 2 felony counts of enticing a child for indecent purposes in Whitfield Superior Court on Tuesday, January 2nd, according to a report by James Swift, editor of the Daily Citizen News. Per Whitfield County Sheriff's Office data, defendant Hayden Christopher Black is also facing 1 count of disorderly conduct, 1 count of public drunkenness, and 1 count of simple battery stemming from an incident alleged to have occurred in 2020. Black was represented by attorney McCracken Poston during Tuesday's proceedings. Poston told the court that the alleged incident occurred at an apartment complex where Mr. Black was living, and that Black was outside sitting by a pool when some young people began taunting and asking for responses from Mr. Black, which resulted in these charges. Per a bill of indictment, the defendant allegedly solicited 2 minors under the age of 16 to his address for the purpose of child molestation and indecent acts. The disorderly conduct charge stems from the defendant allegedly using vulgar and profane language toward 4 children described as being under the age of 14. The simple battery charge alleges that Black pushed a named victim into a swimming pool. Conasauga Judicial Circuit Assistant District Attorney Corey Rossenberger said that Black was statutorily entitled to bond being set. Rossenberger said that Black was arrested on August 17th of 2020, that this case was indicted on January 6th of 2021, and that at the time of this alleged offense, Black was on probation for felony entering auto and felony theft by taking. A probation revocation hearing was held on April 23, 2021. Rossenberger said that the court found that the defendant committed the offense of attempting to entice a child for indecent purposes by a preponderance of the evidence and revoked the balance of his probation, adding that the underlying case was never resolved at that time. Poston said his client sustained a traumatic brain injury in a 2015 vehicular accident and is mentally impaired. Rossenberger said that the district attorney's office has reached out to the Whitfield County Jail asking officials if they are ill-equipped to handle Black's medical conditions. The jail stated that they are equipped to handle Black's medical conditions in the jail, and that given the fact that he was on probation at the time, and the court has heard the facts of the case and found that by a preponderance he committed these offenses, the state is asking for a $500,000 bond with conditions that he have no contact with anyone under the age of 18. If released from the local jail, Poston said the defendant would reside with a relative in Whitfield County. As part of the terms of the bond, Judge Minter ordered the defendant from possessing or consuming alcohol and that he have no contact directly or indirectly with several alleged victims listed on the aforementioned bill of indictment, and that Black must not violate any state or federal law. In other news, an elderly Dalton man was injured this past Wednesday afternoon in a fire at an apartment complex, according to a press release by Bruce Frazier, Communications Director of the City of Dalton. The victim was transported to a burn center for treatment. The Dalton Fire Department was dispatched to the apartments at 2315 Sir Lancelot Place at 4:37 p.m. on Wednesday with a report of a man injured in a fire. Firefighters arrived on scene 3 minutes later. A preliminary investigation of the incident indicates that the victim, a 75-year-old man, was using a lighter to open bags of chips, which he was unable to do with his hands. While doing this, the man accidentally set himself on fire while sitting in a recliner. The fire was limited to the recliner as maintenance workers contained it with a water hose until firefighters arrived. The victim was taken to Erlanger in Chattanooga with third-degree burns reported on approximately 75% of his body. He was later moved to a burn center. His current condition is unknown, but we'll keep you posted as the story unfolds. And now here's Holly Presley with Brian Latour and Brandy Wyatt.
Thank you, Connie. My name is Holly Presley, and I am here with Brian Latour and Brandy White. Brian is from the Chatsworth-Murray County Public Library, and Brandy's from the Whitfield County Public Library. Today, we're going to be talking about some of the things that are going on at both locations. We look forward to hearing what you have happening. So, Brandy, I'll start with you. What's going on over there?
Well, we have quite a few things going on. One of the things I did want to talk about was we have 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten program, and that is the entire system. So Chatsworth Murray, Dalton Whitfield, Calhoun Gordon, we're all participating in 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten program, which is really just to get parents to read to their kids before they get to school, to get them ready to go to school and get them ready to read. So if they go on to our website, they can find some information about it. They can also go to our Beanstack. It's ngrl.beanstack.org, and then they can sign up for the reading challenge. And when they complete it, each branch does give a prize. Different prizes at each branch, but so if they complete it at the Dalton Whitfield County Public Library, they will get a book bag with 10 books in it. And we usually try to put their picture in the paper to tell the people, what they've done and celebrate with them. And we have a lot of kids participating and a lot of adults just really excited about it. So they did a rebrand in the whole state. So I was kind of pushing it out again. We've been doing it for years, and we'll continue to do it just to get them ready for school.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, I love hearing about that. Okay. And Brian, what do you have going on over at the Murray County?
Yes, Holly. Well, I'm going to talk about some stuff for adults we've got going on. We're going to have a local author at the Chatsworth branch on January 25th. Her name's Kristen West. She just published a new book, and she's going to come and sign copies, have some for sale, meet and greet folks in the community. She's a Chatsworth resident, so we're real excited to get her to come. Again, that'll be January 25th at 6 p.m. She'll be there. And then also, this one's kind of a late breaking thing. Monday, February 5th, Millicent Flake, she's another published author from the Calhoun area, is going to be at the Chatsworth branch to teach a creative writing workshop for aspiring, budding writers. So even teens can come to that one as well, or adults. But it'll be on, again, February 5th at 5:30, and that's at the Chatsworth Murray branch.
Fantastic. Well, I hope that y'all come out and participate in these wonderful things. So do you have anything else that you'd like to share with us, Brandy?
I do. Something else that the entire system is doing is we are fines free. We were in a 2-year fines free pilot project for the state, and that has concluded as of December, and we talked to our boards, and we have the permission to continue being fines free. So each one of our branches is fines free. That doesn't mean there are not fees involved. Like if somebody loses a book or damages a book, then there is of course a fee for that because we have to replace it. But we no longer charge fines for our materials. This does not mean that every library in Georgia does not charge. So that there can be fees if you're borrowing books from other systems, but our books and our materials have no fines. So it's just something we're trying to do to make it easier. Bring back your books, please, and they don't have to feel bad about their fines. Sometimes people hate to come back in because they owe money. There's no problem, and it's also to help when kids get older. We tend to find they have sometimes they have fees from when they were a child if their parents got them a card, and it just seems to be a barrier that we want to take away.
It's fantastic. And you get more time with the material, which is great because I usually keep my books a little bit longer than I need to. So, Brian, do you have anything else that you have going on over at the Murray County Public Library?
Yes, but I don't think we have time to talk. But I will. Let me plug one other thing.
Go for it.
We've been trying to attract more teens to the library. On January 26th, we're going to do something called Teen Book Journals. We're going to provide every person who attends it. We're going to give them a blank journal, and we're going to let them decorate it. We're going to have colored pencils, stickers, sequins, just anything you can think of to kind of doll it up a bit. And it's going to be a way to keep up with all the things you read throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
One of our book club members did one and gave us the idea, and we're just going to kind of run with it. Of course, all this stuff too is all free. Brandy's Library, mine, Calhoun. You don't pay for anything at the library when you come. So yeah, again, that's January 26th, the Teen Book Journals.
So y'all cannot see it, but they have loads of stuff happening. Please check out the websites, see what all they have going on. I've been going to both libraries since I was a kid, and I can tell you they are phenomenal. All of the updates and everything they've done over the past years is amazing. And y'all are doing more in the community than I've ever seen the library system do. So it's much appreciated. And I know that the community is going to enjoy doing all of the wonderful things that y'all have planned.
Hope so. I did want to mention we are starting a beginner Spanish class. So at the Dalton Library, the first one will be the 16th of January at 4:00, and there's a professor from Dalton State that's coming to teach it for us. So if you want to learn Spanish, you can come by the library, and you don't need to sign up. Just drop by.
And when is that going to be happening?
The 16th of January at 4:00.
At 4:00. Okay. And actually, you may see me there because that's something that I've been wanting to learn how to do. So that's fantastic. Well, we thank you for watching with us. Again, this is Brian Latour from the Murray County, Chatsworth Murray County Public Library, and Brandy White from the Dalton Whitfield County Public Library. Thank you.
Welcome back to North Georgia News Now. It's hard to believe that the Dalton Police Department was once composed of just 2 officers with a $900 annual budget. Times have certainly changed with today's internationally accredited and state-certified DPD now consisting of positions for 91 sworn officers and a $10 million annual budget. During the past few years, though, echoes and reminders of the department's earlier days have been becoming more apparent. Initiative led by Chief Cliff Kaysen has seen the department collecting more artifacts from its past and doing more to preserve the agency's history. Some of these old badges, patches, and photographs are now on display around the Dalton Police Services Center. Kaysen told Bruce Frazier, the city's communication director, that when certain members from the DPD tried to go back and look at the history of the department, they weren't really able to find a lot of pictures or items. Kaysen said that nobody previously had been the gatekeeper in holding those items and storing them. So what they've had to do is to try to go back and reach out to retired employees and their families to gain access to these items. Kaysen said that the department is embracing the project and the ability to go back and tell the story of when the department started back in the 1840s to where they are now in 2024. Framed displays of old badges and uniform patches now hang outside of the chief's office alongside reproductions of old newspaper accounts of police stories from the early 20th century. Black and white photos of the lineage of former police chiefs are also on display there, and pictures of officers from the 1930s and 1940s hang in the hallways around the building alongside photos of their 21st century counterparts. Assistant Chief Chris Crossan said they've had some former officers come by and talk about some of the photos that are hanging up, and they were able to explain what is happening in the photos and who some of the people were. Crossan said that knowing where you came from helps you know where you're going. Some of the research into the department's history has led to long overdue recognition for one of the department's fallen officers. The DPD has long acknowledged the legacy of the late Chief William Hanna, who was killed in the line of duty in 1899, and the late Officer Morris W. Phillips, Sr., who died in an accidental shooting in 1956. In researching some of the department's history, however, the forgotten story of a third slain officer was rediscovered. Last year, current DPD Detective Chris Tucker found old newspaper clippings that told the story of Officer Harry L. Cook, who was shot and killed on July 27, 1913, when responding to a report of domestic violence. Tucker worked to have Cook's story added to the Officer Down memorial page, an internet database honoring fallen police officers. Crossan said his department learned of the story from going back and looking through historical newspapers, and the late Officer Cook will be added to the memorial wall in Washington, D.C. in May during Police Week and on the Georgia Memorial Wall. In 2024, Dalton's officers will also be wearing a reminder of the agency's history as the department debuts a new uniform patch inspired by a design worn in the 1970s. The new patch is nearly identical to that older version, which was provided by a retired DPD captain. Department leaders are hoping that more former officers or their families might be willing to share artifacts from the department's past. Crossan said that if you have a family member who you know was a former Dalton police officer somewhere back through history, if you have any of their things, pictures from their time as an officer or an officer's badge, any of that sort of thing, the department would love to have it for display or have a picture or copy. Members of the public are able to view these historic items at the Police Services Center during normal business hours by asking an employee if they can be escorted to view what is on display. The building is located at 301 Jones Street near downtown. I'll leave you with a heartwarming story about a Georgia teenager as reported by Mike Rice out of Macon. A year after his parents and sister were killed in a car crash while driving home from his football game, a Muskogee County School District student got a spirit-boosting surprise from the NFL, and the idea came from a former MCSD student. Carver High School junior Braylon Jakes learned during last Friday's assembly that the NFL is providing 2 tickets for him and a guest to attend Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. Kaylin Tate, a 2014 Shaw High School student, is the NFL's sponsorship coordinator. This is the 7th season the NFL allows employees to nominate someone they think deserves to be among the recipients of the 500 Super Bowl tickets the league office gives away. When it was time to submit nominations this year, Tate recalled reading about the Jakes family tragedy. Tate said the story made her emotional as she couldn't imagine being without her parents at 15 years old. Braylon is from Tate's hometown and comes from a similar background. Tate said she was thrilled when she learned Braylon was selected. WTVM TV in Columbus reported in October of 2022 that police said 3 members of the Jakes family, Byron, age 45, Katrina, 43, and Cameron, 10, were driving home from Carver's football game at Thomasville High School when another vehicle crossed into their lane and caused a head-on collision. All 3 died as their car erupted in flames. Braylon loved his family, and the last time he saw them was that football game, Tate wrote in her nomination, adding that his entire life changed forever and devastated everyone around him. Even so, Braylon somehow soared above his grief and dedicated himself to football, even at the very next game against Crisp County High School the following week. Braylon not only was the team captain, but he scored 2 touchdowns and dedicated them to his family. His teammates and opponents also stepped up. The Carver Tigers greeted Braylon when he returned home and continued to support him, and the Thomasville Bulldogs raised money for his family. Tate says that Braylon's story is a true testament to what football is all about, coming together as a team. Attending the Super Bowl will give him something major to look forward to, as in 2024 he will be going into his senior year. Braylon has a bright future ahead of him, Tate said, and for Braylon to know that the NFL supports him along this never-ending journey of grieving his family will give him that extra push he needs to reach for the stars. Braylon has impressed Carver principal Chris Lindsay with the maturity he has shown during the past year. Lindsay said he's doing extremely well and he has a good family structure with his grandmother. And that's whom Braylon said he will be giving the other ticket to accompany him to the Super Bowl, his paternal grandmother, Jacqueline Jakes. Braylon said his grandmother is his best friend, but he's also grateful for his coaches, his teammates, and everyone at his school. Tate announced the surprise after conducting an onstage interview with 3 former Carver football stars who played in the NFL, Isaiah Crowell, DJ Jones, and Gabe Wright. Braylon said he sees how far they went, so he knows anything is possible. Congratulations from all of us at North Georgia Television. We're praying for this young man and are so very impressed by his strength and the NFL's generosity. When we return, Brian Latour and Brandy Wyatt will present WDNN's community calendar. But first, here's your local weather.
Today's local weather is brought to you by Sean Wallen of Wallen Realty.
Welcome back. It's time for WDNN's community calendar. Here are some things going on around the area.
On January 12th and 13th, Dalton Little Theater will host the world premiere of a new musical, Click. Written by 2 Dalton High School students, script by Ellis Stevens with lyrics and music by Lily Sharp, Click is an innovative story about the lives of young people living with learning disabilities and their journey navigating social and academic issues that arise from those disabilities, particularly in the days leading up to the dreaded standardized tests faced by all school-age youngsters. The learning disabilities faced by those in the story are the characters, or the cliques, and they antagonize the adolescents who struggle to maintain their friendships and overcome labels used in special education to define learning disabilities. You will meet Jane, Jonathan, and Scott, who describe how their IEPs, or individualized education plans, help and hinder them at this stage of their lives. All 3 characters work to discover their identities as they search for balance between acceptance and growth through the battle of their young lives. Don't miss this exciting and innovative new musical, 2 nights only, January 12th and 13th. Tickets on sale now at daltonlittletheater.com. Congratulations go out to Ellis Stevens and Lily Sharp on this phenomenal production.
The Creative Arts Guild in Dalton invites you to be one of the first to see and shop from their yard sale. Enjoy refreshments and beverages while shopping from a collection of gently loved and closeout artwork from across all mediums at great prices. It's the perfect chance to start or add to your personal art collection for your home or business. Admission is free, and this is a family-friendly event. Kids can enjoy creating their own work of art in a designated space just for them. This event will take place on Friday, January the 19th from 5:50 to 7 p.m. at the Creative Arts Guild.
The Cartersville Area Writers Group invites those interested in writing and those who are already writing out to their monthly meeting on Tuesday, January 16th. This month is free to the public, so if you've been curious and would like to come check it out, this is a great time to do so. There will be several free meetings this year and several perks for CAW members. You can learn more about membership details on the Cartersville Area Writers Facebook page or at cartersvilleareawritersgroup.com. This year there will be a lot planned. At the meeting, the calendar for 2024 will be discussed, and the CAW board members will be introduced. And attendees will interact with some fun writing challenges to jumpstart your 2024 writing resolution. Be sure to bring something you're working on to share. Also, Chris Owens will be there to share with you his plans for an all-new CAW critique group. There will be copies of the group's anthology, The Crow Speaks, available for purchase at $10 each. Location is the Georgia Highlands Cartersville Campus, Building A, Room 135.
The Wood Songs Dalton Concert Series, now in its 12th year, will kick off the 2024 series with High Fidelity, an award-winning bluegrass band, on Saturday, January the 27th, 7 p.m. at First Presbyterian Church in Dalton. The band consists of 5 outstanding musicians and singers who are steeped in the sounds of tradition. Proceeds from the concert will benefit the DEO Clinic, a nonprofit medical clinic providing free health care to low-income residents of Whitfield and Murray counties. Advance tickets are $20 or $24 at the door. Tickets are available online at woodsongsdalton.com, at the Dalton Freight Depot gift shop, Bigham Discount Music, and at the door.
And if you'd like to submit information on your event for North Georgia News Now's community calendar, send an email to info@wdnntv.com.
That's it for this edition of the North Georgia News Now. Be sure to visit us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Thanks for watching Local.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to click that subscribe button as well as bell notifications so you won't miss any new videos. Also, follow us on our social medias.
Thank you again for tuning in, and until next time, keep watching Local.